I really do appreciate you for like having you on and being able to, schedule some time, especially since like you're in season. So, yeah, so introduce yourself and give a little explanation of like who you are and what you do.
I'm Lexie Brown. I play in the WNBA for the Chicago Sky. This is my fourth season in the WNBA. I went to Duke for college as well as Maryland. So I went to Maryland first, then finished at Duke. And yeah, that's it. It's about my life.
Facts. No, but let's go ahead and get into it. So, you had a standout college career and you ended up being drafted ninth overall. How was that experience for you getting drafted and going into the WNBA?
Um, Getting drafted was like that was always the goal. I always wanted to be in the WNBA since I was little. Like elementary school, I knew I wanted to be in the WNBA, but there's so many different paths to get to the league. Like there's so many amazing stories throughout the entire league of girls getting drafted, not getting drafted, or
Yeah.
having to play overseas, and then they go to a training camp and get signed. So I was aware of all those different paths, and me and my parents were like, we want like the goal is to get drafted. Um, and then, as I started getting a little bit better, it was like, okay, well, let's get drafted. And it was like, all right, let's get drafted in the first two rounds. And then it's like, okay, let's
Mm,
get drafted the first round. And then I was like, okay, I think you can maybe become a top 10 type of player. So, as, I grew up, I got better. I grew more confident. We kind of just raised the level of goal
right.
little by little. So, to make it there and be able to share that moment with my family, our draft was, I think, was our draft the last one that was in person? No, it wasn't. There was one more. Um,
Yeah. Before
uh,
COVID, right?
yeah, so it's sad that those girls don't get to experience, that whole thing, that whole weekend, up in New York and being with all the other girls getting drafted with their families and just the excitement about it. So it was a
Right.
great weekend. I had so much fun and we celebrated after, and it was a great time.
No, no, that's dope. I've heard a bunch of like different draft experiences and different draft stories, and every single one that I've heard, they all said like it's super dope and a great experience to be there live, and having your family there, being able to see like you work so hard to get to like that dream, like how you said. So I think that's really dope to actually hear your story about that. Going into the WNBA, how has that experience been for you? Like that transition from actually playing in college and then playing in the league.
So for us, it's like such a quick transition. The college season ends, and then a week later is like the draft, and then
Yeah,
a few more weeks later is training camp. Like there's no combine, there's no there's like no time to pretty much wrap your mind around becoming a pro just from college, and it's even harder for the players that make it all the way to like the final four because they just really have like no time at all. Say you miss
right.
the tournament or you get eliminated early. I mean, you do have a little bit of time to prepare and get things ready. But like for us, we made it to the Sweet 16. So that was just one week before, the last weekend of the season. And I was in grad school still. So even the tournament ended, I went back to class, the draft happened. I flew home the night after the draft because I had to go to class because
What?
they were like, congratulations, but we don't care because you so I went to class. I had to take my finals 2 weeks early to make it to training camp. I didn't get to go to my graduation because of training
Wow.
camp. So, that transition was kind of hard, but I personally was mentally prepared for it because my dad had coached. He knew a lot about the WNBA, so it didn't
Right.
really catch me by surprise. But the level of play, the athleticism, the physicality, so different. And coming in as a rookie, I was the only rookie on my team. I had all the rookie duties.
Yeah.
I kind of just felt kind of by myself that first season. Um, but it was all a learning experience, and I'm glad it happened, and I'm blessed because that team made my dream come true. They
Absolutely.
drafted me, so
Yeah.
that summer for me, I've kind of like put it behind me. It's like there's like some memories you put in like a storage space, and you're like, we're not gonna revisit that
Yeah.
what that summer was, but it's all part of the journey and the process.
Nah, trust. Like I haven't played pro or anything of that nature, but I kind of am able to relate to it because going in as a freshman in college, you know,
Yeah.
is similar, but it's completely different when you go pro. I'm already knowing like the
Like
stress
when
and
you're in
everything.
college, you're all still kind of the same age.
Yep.
18 is 22, 23. When you get to the pros, we're 22, 23. Some of our teammates are like in their mid 30s. And you're just like, what do we
Dang.
have in common with them? I'm like, dang, like they've been playing for like 10 plus years in this league, and I just got here. Like, what can I learn from them? So, that's kind of
Right.
how I walked into it. Because I've been able to play like my first 4 seasons, I played with like probably like 5 or 6 future like Hall of Famers or greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Phil, Simone, Candace Parker right now, Courtney Vandersloot, Ali Quigley. Like these are players that are like top 10 and like ever and what they do. Like with Candace, just everything. Ali shooting, Courtney's gonna be one of the best point guards to ever play. Like just the amount of information that I've been able to soak up in these 4 years has been amazing. And I definitely like that's something I've always appreciated.
No, for real. How was that for you though? Like going in being, a top pick, right? And being one of the best on your teams to now being on a team full of the best, like all the time, like no matter what team you're on.
For me it was just hard because I felt like I could I could contribute. So there's only a certain amount of minutes. You only have 5 people on the team. I mean, on the court at a time. So just things like that. Sometimes it just doesn't work out in your favor.
Yeah.
So there were moments where just like, dang, like I could help them. Like I don't want to be the star, but I want to contribute. I want to do what I was born to do. What I worked my whole life to do. So to for me, I've always been a very humble person. So to say it was a humbling experience is not true because I didn't need to be humbled.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's not really any other way to phrase it because you are the star of your team in college, but so are all of your teammates. So you kind of just have to get in where you fit in. But there's a lot of players, it takes them a few years to find their footing in the league, and because it's so small and spaces are so limited and players play for so long,
Yeah.
sometimes you really just have to like wait your turn, and that's happening. It happens all the time, but I think people are noticing it now more because this rookie class, like none of them are playing like at all. So this has
Hard.
always been a problem, but not like every single one of them like really is not a main contributor to their teams, other than being like great teammates, great bench energy, things like that, which is also super important. But those are roles that they're not used to having, and everyone is not used to seeing them in those roles. So, and I think, and I know this is so off topic, but
No,
that's
you're good.
like the disconnect between the college fan bases and the pro fan bases is because all these rookies come into the league with all this momentum from especially this year's tournament. It was
Yeah.
so exciting. It was so much fun. And then you get into the league and you don't see them for 3 years because they're buried on the bench. And people are like, well, why doesn't the college fan base translate? And I think that's why. And I think that needs to change. And there needs to be more of a commitment to the development of younger players. I think it's coming. And I
Yeah.
think that now that the conversation, I saw an article about it yesterday about why these rookies are not playing. And so I feel like people are noticing, and I hopefully that can start to change because it's important to believe in the younger players because you want younger players to want to be in the league. You want them to be
Right.
excited. You want them to to aspire to be in this league and play with us and stuff like that. So
No,
I
that's a
hope it's
that's a
changing.
great point. No,
Yeah.
that's honestly a great point because like I didn't even think about the 3 year gap before, the rookie that got drafted is actually one of the main stars. Like that's really tough. How do
Yeah.
you how does someone manage being a bench not I don't want to say perhaps a bench player, but not being able to contribute as much as they did in college now that they're in the league? How do you manage that?
You just have to have a positive mentality, and it's not going to be easy every day. And I've seen like so many roles in this league in 4 years. Like I didn't play at all. And then I was like a really important role player. And then I was
Mm,
starting. And now I'm back to not really playing a lot. So like my career has been like up and down, up and down. I was waived at the beginning of the season. So
yeah,
I missed a third of the year. I was at home. So it's like you just have to have the right people in your corner. You have to have the right mentality and just continue to work hard because this league is all about seizing your opportunity, and you don't know when it's going to come or where it's going to come from, but as long as you're prepared all the time, then you'll be fine. And you just have to have a really positive mentality. And this past like year, I've just been really aware of like my energy and the energy I give off and the energy that I accept from people, and it's changed my life. Like
Right.
the way I interact with my teammates, my coaches, the way I handle maybe playing 10 minutes one game and then maybe not even seeing the court in the next. Like I've just been able to handle it so much better. And that's come with age as well.
Yeah.
But
Growth.
yeah, growth.
Growth. Yes.
So it's been, I mean, it's been a nice journey. It's been tough, but I'm hoping like it'll all be worthwhile, and my time is coming, and I'm gonna be ready, and it's gonna be fun.
No, absolutely. I think you broke that down perfectly. And to kind of go into it, I don't think people understand how tough the league is and how mentally tough you kind of have to be in order to play in it, you know? Because I've been keeping up with you guys, and then one day someone's getting traded, one day someone's
Right.
getting waived, and one day someone's getting picked up again, then contract, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's always like
Mhm.
not, it's not as stable like as you would think it would be.
No, not at all. And it's gotten
Yeah.
more unstable because of these new salaries that we're kind of navigating, which they didn't really do a good job the
Yeah.
last 2 years, but they're learning like we are. But you look at like the NBA, so they have 30 teams and they have like 17 players per team.
Mm,
Oh, that's so many players. And like there are players on teams that are like, this is your job is to be in practice with them and make them better and da 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 da. But with us, there's 12 teams with 11 spots. And this year, some teams can only carry 10 or 11 because of the salary caps. So it's like even less.
right.
So, I like to say, like, we're some of the best athletes in the world. And, that sounds so arrogant and, look at us, but it's true. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. This year, it's not even, we go with the 144, da da da. This year it wasn't, it's smaller. It's like 136 this year or something crazy. So it's so
Sheesh.
competitive. But like I said, your opportunity, like anybody can step up and, have their time, have their moment because everyone has to be so good all the time.
Right. Have you ever experienced burnout when you've had to deal a lot with, contributing to the league, and then when the league is over, you gotta go overseas? Like, there's no like real break.
For me, I haven't experienced burnout because um, my overseas experiences have actually been like really nice.
Yeah.
I've had like a good time. I like exploring new places. I like trying new things. I like meeting new people. So, I've taken like all the positive sides of, being in a different country, and I, kind of just focused on that. Last year I didn't go overseas, which was great. I wouldn't say this was like a time of burnout, but last year in the bubble, and I got a concussion
Oh
and came
yeah.
home, and I just didn't want to have anything to do with basketball for a few months. So I didn't touch a basketball for from October to almost like January. So
Yeah.
like that bubble was stressful. Recovering from the concussion was really annoying and draining and stressful. So I was like, let me just take a reset and then we'll get back to it. And I think, and then with COVID on top of it, so it was just like a lot. But not going overseas last year was good for me, and I got to be
Right.
with my family, which I hadn't been able to do in a long time. So that was really nice. And
Oh yeah.
this year, I think going back overseas, which I didn't think I was ever going to go back overseas, but it's like I just spent the whole summer not really playing a lot. So, that's kind of what it is for us as well. Is like our off season is so long.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a choice but to go overseas because then we're going to do for 8 months. Like you
Yeah,
can't train
literally.
for 8 months. Like
Right.
it
And be
was
prepared to go
like
back into the league. Yeah.
you can't train for 8 months. Like there's nothing like just playing and stuff. And then you'd want to like maybe go get pickup games or leagues, but you can't because all the WNBA players are in Europe. So
True.
you kind of have to go, and the WNBA teams look at you like, oh well, she's not overseas, so what's she doing? Like
Right.
what? That's kind of what happened to me this past year, which I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was training, but I wasn't overseas. So they were like, and I was in Miami. So like, oh, she partying, she on the beach, she's.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm working,
They're
but
only seeing a little bit of what's out there. Yeah, not
my
like the full
agent
thing.
was
Yep.
like, you need to probably go overseas just to, let remind people like what type of player you are and things like that. Which I get it, I understand it's hard to compete when I'm at home and people are doing numbers overseas, and I'm at the house.
Man, no, I
So
get it. No, I get it. And that kind of brings me to like my next topic of social media because you said like how people were only able to see you doing like one thing, right? Like you're in Miami, that's all they know, but they don't realize you're doing the grind. You know
right.
what I'm saying? Like actually working out every day, taking care of your body, your spirit, your mental and all that stuff. So how has social media or how have you been able to use social media as a way of, promoting yourself as a brand and, encourage the side of women's basketball and get that more light.
Yeah, I've like always loved social media, and when I was like at school, like
Yeah.
my friends and teammates would like make fun of me. They're like, "Well, you love to take pictures, you love Instagram." I'm like, "Just wait, it's gonna be
Right.
worth it. I promise." And like this is before like Instagram it became what it is today. But I've just always loved, showing my personality and interacting with people that, support me and watch me play and watch, my teammates play and all these things because, every fan, I appreciate all of them. I don't even like
Yeah.
my own fans, but I appreciate anybody that has supported my journey from the beginning. So I've always been very authentic on social media. So like when I became a pro, you can start doing ads and promotions and stuff. I was like,
Hmm.
okay, like make some money doing this, but it's like it kind of took the authenticity away from what I like to do on social media.
Mm.
I don't do that much Instagram promoting and stuff anymore. I'll do some here and there with like products that I really like or believe in and
Yeah.
things like that. But like you're not gonna see my page like ad. Just random things
Hmm.
because that's not what I use social media for. And I thought it was something that I wanted to do, like be an influencer and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And like I enjoy doing like I enjoy experiencing my life too much to always have a phone out and a camera recording things. On my YouTube channel, which that was fun. I'm probably gonna start vlog. If I do go overseas, I'll probably start vlogging again.
Absolutely. I think you should.
They're fun. Like they're so fun to make. I vlogged when we were in the bubble, and that was so much fun. And I got my teammates and coaches and everybody involved. Um, but I think it's just a good way to connect and interact. And it was so crucial overseas to like stay connected to everything that was going on, and it was a great thing. But then FOMO was at a all time high. Especially
Yes.
last year when I was in Israel, I couldn't come home for the holidays because they don't celebrate Christmas, and that was the hardest, like 2 months probably of
Wow.
the time I spent overseas was like the holidays because I was like, I'd never missed Christmas before. So like that was really sad for me. But other than that, I love social media. People call me I used to be the selfie queen, but now I don't know what I am now, but
You
I
said
don't
I don't know what I am now.
I don't really be on my selfie game no more. I just take, pictures of stuff I'm doing. But
Yeah.
and then Twitter, obviously, you go on there and talk mess and be funny.
Right.
Twitter got the jokes,
It
so
sure does. No, look, I love me a good little retweet every now and then.
I love Twitter. Like people are just so funny for no reason. Like people are hilarious. So
Like you gotta be there to know. Like you gotta see it
yes,
to know what
like
we're talking
I
about.
remember one time like Black Twitter was trending, and somebody asked me, "Where can I find Black Twitter?" It's not a place; it's an experience.
You have to be there.
You have to be in it to
Yes.
experience it. You don't find it. They're like, can I search Black Twitter? And
No, you can't. If you're
no,
not in it,
leave
you
me
won't be in
alone.
it.
Like I follow like the people I follow. I don't even know how I've started following them. But it's like my timeline is always lit and hilarious, and I love it. My little Black Twitter universe is great.
Hey, real talk though. Hey, have you ever experienced, right, with social media, dealing with, certain pressures because you are a public figure, you are a professional athlete, where sometimes you are posting of you having fun, right? And then people or fans are like, well, what are
Why are
you
you
doing?
not in the gym? Oh my
Yes. So how do you deal with that, especially as a woman, you know?
I mean, I used to like clap back, but it's like I go to their page and I'm like, why am I
Yeah.
even responding to this person? Because they want to, be a a-hole on Instagram. Like that happened to me like the other day. not the other day, but like a few pictures ago, I posted something and they were like, maybe if you were in the gym more, you would not da da da. Da. I'm just like what? Like what is the point?
Has that ever affected you?
I mean, it used to, and now I'm just like, what am I? What I gotta explain to y'all?
Right.
Like, I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm at. I know I'm at the gym every day. I know what I'm doing. Like, are you kidding? So it's like it does like what bothers me more now is just the thought of like people who just sit on the internet and just want to talk mess all
Yes.
people that they don't even know and like about things that they don't know anything about. That's where I get stuck on. It's not even a it's the principle that be messing
Right.
because I'm like I could never imagine getting on a fake page and just
Saying
being
negative stuff.
me,
Yeah,
like
I couldn't.
so weird. It's so weird to me. So now I'm like I've kind of like, I think weird is like the word of 2021. Weirdos. So I'm like, I've like just transcended the weirdness and I'm like looking down on it like y'all are weirdos and I'm gonna be over here.
Yeah.
Just be weird and I'm gonna just let y'all have it. And that's
How
it.
did you get into that space of like I'm not going to even involve myself in that negativity because it can be really hard when they're coming to your page
Yes.
and typing under your photos and commenting this stuff consistently.
Yeah. Well, first we started with a lot of blocking of these people. I don't care. Like if you say something on my page I don't like, I'll just block you. Like I don't care. And then I was getting into like little arguments with people like on Twitter, and my mom would like text me and be like, "What are you doing? Like, can you stop?"
Yes.
So that's kind of where it started. Was with my mom was like, "You don't have to get like, why do you keep giving these people your energy? Like,
Right.
better than that." Even though it was like making other people laugh. So I was like, "Okay, you're right." So it was just then I can't became the realization like these people just want attention. So our society thrives on negativity for whatever reason. I hate it.
Yeah.
I think that, oh, Lexie will only respond to me if I say something crazy to her, which
Right.
was true.
Sometimes, yeah.
So now I'm like, that's not how you're going to get a response out of me anymore. So I try to respond to people who are like sending kind words and being nice, but I can't respond to everybody. And then if like you message somebody and you open their message and you're like, thanks, then they like can message you forever. So I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
so now they're like messaging me all the time, and I'm just like, no. So I gotta like block them, and even though they're
Right.
not. So I just don't say anything most of the time now. But I just laugh, and if it's something like really out of pocket, I'll like send it to my family group chat or my friend group chat and be like, look what this idiot said to me.
And kind of get it out that way.
Yeah, we'll just talk about it, and then it's over.
Yeah. No, I think honestly, this is great to talk about because so many people are going through it and a lot of people don't know how to handle it, like
I'm like such a little tiny human in this big world. Like there's like real celebrities who like literally get it times like a million.
yes,
I'm just like, I don't know how they even deal with that. Like, I don't care how much money you have, how happy you appear to be. Like, words are hurtful, even
is
though
they're
you don't
hurtful.
even know where they're coming from. And I think that makes it even more hurtful because you're like, what did I do to upset these people so much? Or
Right.
somebody that I know hiding, like your mind starts racing. So, shout out to like the really, really famous people who deal with that every day because, you have to like, I feel like I'm a mentally tough person, but I don't think
Yeah.
they get enough credit for being able to handle things like that, every day, all day long because of social media.
I mean, I got to give you credit though cuz you are dealing with it. You are dealing with
I'm
it.
dealing with on a very small scale.
Look, a very small scale is still more than none, you know what I mean? Like it still can be a difficult thing, especially since you don't know these people and they're making it a point to come to you and tell you how they
Yeah,
feel.
I'm
Like,
like, go write this down somewhere and like burn it.
yeah.
Like it's so even like I have friends who like are just like they're just regular people. Like they even have people on their pages talking crazy to them. Like it's just everybody has just lost their minds on the internet. And I'm just
Yeah.
like if all social media disappeared today, I would be like sad for 5 seconds and then I
Yeah.
would just go about the rest of my life. The only thing I would true if everything really disappeared, I would be sad about my pictures being gone, like as far as like having them
The
from like
stuff that you like.
and then like all my Snapchat memories.
Yeah.
That would be like I would probably cry about that. But Everything
Other
else,
than that, you said
whatever. Bye.
bye.
Life will not change if social media disappears, which is a beautiful thing. And I feel like more people need to think about that. Like, okay, if Instagram went away, like what would I be? How would people view me? How would people's perception be of me if
Yeah.
I couldn't post about myself 24/7? Like, would I be able to have conversations? Would I be able to
Mhm.
go outside and be normal? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't do. So,
Yeah. It'll be completely different.
mhm.
It'll be completely different. So how do you manage all of this? How do you manage, playing then because you have to do some social media, promotions for because that's part of your job, like your
Right.
endorsements and then your personal life and then taking care of yourself. Like how do you do it?
Um, you know, trial and error. Some things work, some things don't work. I think for me, when I was in college, I love school, so I love to learn. So school stressed me out, like as it stresses out everybody at some point. But I
Yeah.
never like hated school. I never hated going to class unless I was like tired or something like that. But like overall, like getting a college degree was something that was always been like something I needed and wanted and was super important to me. So balancing school was like kind of easy for me. And then I think I'm my best self when I'm like enjoying my life and like I'm out and I'm with my friends and I'm going to party and I'm going out to eat. Like
Hmm.
I'm at my like peak energy when I'm like around people I love and having like a great time and bringing other people that I love with me to have a great time. And I think that's why through college I was so successful and I had such a good time because I made like people like, well, you got to make this a priority. Like I made my social life a priority,
Yeah.
and this year I have made my social life a priority, and
Yeah.
I've been so happy. But I also like you can prioritize different things at like different times. Like I know that I
Right.
need to clock in, get in the gym. Like I'm gonna get my workout in. I'm gonna do that. But if I last year, 2 years ago, like I would sit in my house and watch Netflix all day after practice. But now I'm like, girl, you want to go get some food? I'm like,
Yeah.
what we doing after the game? Like
Right.
that's what I'm on now, and I like love it. And I think being like busy, like sometimes it is bad to be too chill and really just not really have anything going on because you can get like stuck in this like
Oh my gosh. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I've been there, and I'm like, I don't want to go back there. I like being here, and I love when everyone sees me like, oh my god, Lexie, like you're having so much fun, like you're
Yeah.
happy, and I'm like, girl, I am. You want to come? Let's go.
No, that's so important because like you get so stuck in workouts, games, training, rehab to the point you start forgetting what makes you happy in addition to your sport. So who or what got you out of watching Netflix all day?
Honestly, it was well, one COVID because everyone was inside for a year.
Mm,
Everyone was ready to like be outside, which is what everyone said. We outside now, which is so funny.
yeah.
We say that now. But honestly, being here in Chicago with Diamond, so Diamond is like my one of my best friends since we've been kids. So when we were younger, we would go do everything together, and then we had like a span of time where we kind of grew apart a little bit, and we
Hmm.
like, slowly mended our relationship. The universe, I don't know what universe had it planned for us, but the fact that we've been able to be in Chicago together on this team and have like my up and down experiences and her up and down experiences and being
Right.
able to, go through all that together has been so good for me. And like I think she knows how good it's been for her, but I've never told her, how much she's helped me, become this, more social person, more happy person. I've never told her, which I probably should
You're
eventually.
gonna tell her right after, like, hey.
I'm trying to listen to this so she can hear it. Um,
Yeah.
but I think we've always been so good for each other. We balance each other out. She's a little more chill. I'm chill, but she's super chill. So I've kind of like turned her up a little bit, and we just have had so much fun together. And I think when you're around the right people, some good qualities about yourself that you didn't even know that you had or didn't even realize went away. They come back out, and then you just have so much fun.
No, that's super dope. To have someone that you grew up with on the same team.
I know it's crazy. It's just like the way, because Diamond's been in Chicago since we got drafted. So this is my third team. So the fact that our paths have just been like that, and now we're just back together is like it's always we always start like this is crazy, like that we're here right now, like doing all this stuff together.
Like what? Like how does that work? Like
And
that's by the grace of God, honestly.
exactly, literally, literally.
That's so wild. So ever since you're a kid, right? You've been surrounded by hoop. So how was it for you, like being the daughter of an NBA player that's been in the league for 12 years? Did you feel like any pressures or anything of that nature, or was it just a smooth ride for you?
There was really no pressure, being a girl, it's a little
Yeah.
different. They're not like you're gonna be just like your dad. Like obviously I can't. I'm a girl. So
Yeah.
um I think the hardest thing, and it was really hard, I got into basketball on my own. Like he didn't push me into it. He kind of
That's dope.
kind of actually tried to push me out of it because I was not very good at the beginning. And I was like, Dad, we got this. We
Trust me.
worked. We just worked. We just worked. We just worked, and it was worth it. But I think just sometimes the hardest thing is just like, which I didn't experience until I became a pro, was that because of who he is and his jobs and the things that he does, people are like, well, she doesn't need basketball. Like
Mm,
if basketball is gone, like she'll be fine. Like she has her parents, like she has her dad. Like
hmm.
I just love playing basketball. So like if basketball was taken away from me, I would not be okay. I'd be very upset, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what to do with myself for a little bit, honestly, if it was just suddenly taken away. But I think that's been the only thing, is just like she's just this privileged life. She's privileged. She's spoiled. Da, 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 she's a princess. Like just things like that, which I always love proving everybody wrong about what type of person they
Right.
think I am. And having to do that is annoying, but sometimes you just have to do it because I love when people meet me and they're just like, "You're not anything like I thought you were gonna be." I'm like, no,
You're like,
gotta
well,
talk to me for 2 seconds and you
right.
receive that. But he's been great. My parents have just been so supportive and in every decision I've made. And even this year when I got waived and things like that, they weren't. I was upset, but I was like, I disappointed you guys. Like I didn't even make
Mm.
a contract. Like I'm already out of the league. Well, help me. What am I gonna do? You can relax. Like you will be fine. Like you put in too much work, and they kept me level headed because I could have spiraled at that moment in time, but they kept me locked in. And so when Chicago called, I was ready
You're
to go.
ready to go. Nah, that's Lexi, that's dope. Like when you really think about it, and especially like with your honesty and you just being open about your experiences, like this can help a lot of people that
And
are dealing with the same situation
for me, like my situation is like it's not rare. My situation happens to more players than
than not.
yeah. I just happen to be more of a higher profile player. Like it doesn't really happen to I don't want to say players like me because I haven't really done shit in the league yet, but I've had moments like sparks. But like so that when that whole situation happened, like everyone was just kind of like, "What is going on?" So
Hmm.
I felt like the best way to deal with it was just be very transparent about what was going on, and I was, and it's sad what happened, what happened in Minnesota, but I feel like everything happens for a reason. God has a plan. Like I said, being here with Diamond,
Right.
Chicago is like the most fun city I've ever lived in my life. The people here are so dope. It's just the vibes are incredible. So I think I ended up exactly where I needed to be. I got knocked down a few notches a little bit, but I feel like I'd rather have that happen to me now than a few years later, like when I'm a little older and people are like,
Yeah.
oh, she washed, whatever. I'm still young. I got fresh legs. I don't got a lot of WNBA
Yeah.
bodies on them. So,
If you could give one piece of advice for someone that's going through something similar to your experiences, what would it be?
I would say keep. There's so much you can say.
There's so much. Yep.
I would just say keep your goal. Like don't shift your goal. because what is the saying? It's like, what is it? A detour is just a different route to your final destination or something like
Mm,
that. Like even if you got a detour, you still can get where you want to go. You just got to go a different way.
right.
So detour doesn't mean stop. So I think that's the biggest thing. Like just because something stands in your way or you are dealing with something hard and that makes what you want to achieve, a little bit harder, that doesn't mean it's still obtainable to you. You just kind of have to figure something else out and have the right people in your corner and stay positive and pray. And I think I have this right here. This is my notebook. I do daily affirmations. I've been slacking the last
Wow.
minute, but like every day I write in here.
Wow. And you
Yeah.
just write just all positive stuff?
Daily affirmation and like a prayer request. But yeah, since September started, I've kind of been slacking. But I've been doing it since July 26th.
Wow.
And it's been great. And I think people should, you don't even have to write them down. If you just wake up and say something positive about yourself, you can start your day off well. And I know there's apps that do it for you. So
Yeah.
it's like one of the best things I've ever started doing.
That's dope.
So happy. Yeah. You're like, I love myself.
Suddenly, self-love.
You're beautiful. Boom.
Right.
Something small.
But
Like,
it's important. Like, honestly, I need to be doing that more. I've been really slacking and there's no excuse because everybody has to do what they got to do. So I should make time because I make time for everything else.
literally.
But it's just you don't understand like how one positive thing can just change the whole momentum of your day and
Yeah.
then your days and then your weeks.
You're positive, and then you might bump into somebody and you might even know this person, but because you're vibrating at a high frequency, you pass that on to them. You might make their day better. You have no idea. Like it's like you just gotta think about things like that. Like how do people you could have one interaction with a person for just and you never see this person again. I want to make sure that every time I interact with a person, they leave like, oh, she was so nice. Or her energy, I love
Yeah.
her energy. Because when I meet people like that and I'm like, dang, their energy, I love their energy. Like that makes
Right.
me happy. And then I want to go give someone else some good energy. But when I like meet somebody or see someone and their energy sucks, I'm like, ugh.
And it kind of comes onto you and it stays
Yeah,
for a little
I'm
bit.
just like, ugh. That person again.
It's true. It's true. And that can happen anywhere. That can happen in within your team, within just like friend groups, like relationships, anything and everything. So I truly believe in that. And I think that was like literally perfectly said of how you put it. And one, I gotta thank you for being on and being honest and being so open because like that's so important. Yes. Yes. Where can they find you at on your socials?
This is just my name, Lexie Brown. I got it changed. It was Lexie Brown 4, but I had to change it because I got a new number. But everything is Lexie Brown. That's it. So,
Both on
yeah.
Instagram and Twitter?
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, thank you for being on. And, if you need anything from our end, we got you. And it's just a blessing that we're able to get together and talk about such a, important topic now. And I'm glad that it's being talked about more and more and more. So we're going to keep it rolling.
Of course. Thank you.